Welcome to the House of the Faded Sun podcast, fuckfaces. It's your boy. I'm here. And I know a lot of you guys are probably surprised at the fact I'm doing this after I've kind of been on a hiatus for like fucking 2 years. Because like I don't really post ever and nobody really knows anything about me. But I like it that way. So now you guys get to know everything. Welcome. This is the House of the Faded Sun. Thank you to my good friend David, who will be joining me here on the podcast, along with Piper, Phoebe, and Casey. And we will make up what is known as the house. This is going to be the big podcast. This is going to be with all of us, with all different inputs and all different beliefs. But there's also going to be some different podcasts done to where if individuals want to do ones, I'm sure that me and Pipe will probably do one off to the side or something. And that'll be on the same channel. So there's all that, and we can get to going now. So why am I doing this? Basically, last month, a lot of shit happened. Lost my dad, and a lot of reality came at me, and I realized, like, holy shit, everything that you're putting off is not worth fucking putting off, because every day actually fucking matters, believe it or not. And I'm not used to that feeling, and so I'm here. And I'm going to be honest, and I'm tired of people being able to say what they think I mean. Here you're going to hear what I actually mean, and at the same time you're going to hear a lot of things known as cognitive dissonance, which is where my beliefs change on the daily, because guess what, boys and girls, I have bipolar disorder. And so I'm going to switch back and forth a lot, but I promise you'll hear the truth in what I say underneath of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I promise. In the end, I think a lot of you guys that don't like me at this point will end up liking me, because despite not making sense, I believe I make a lot of sense, and I hope to always be a nice guy. So, welcome to the podcast, everybody. We are all college students. I know this is going to be the young person's aspect. That's what I think. That's good. What's going to be so great about this is that we're all different, and so like, everybody else in the podcast world is kind of doing like, hey, like, I'm 40, let me look back and tell you what I've done. We're 21, 20, and like,
still 19.
Yeah, 19. So like, we're still figuring all this out. You're going to hear it as we're growing. You're going to hear it as we learn what we actually want to do. So just thank you guys for listening. I'm Dylan. I'm a philosophy major.
I am Piper, Dylan's girlfriend, which he failed to mention. I am an art major.
Got you there, dude.
I'm David. I'm one of Dylan's roommates. I'm a biology major.
I'm Phoebe. I'm also one of Dylan's roommates, and I'm a philosophy major as well.
I'm Casey. I am a creative writing major, and I am just couch surfing right now. Chilling.
I wanted to start off with just doing Ferris Bueller, because we all watched that movie.
I know!
It's pretty recently. So Ferris Bueller's a good thing we can all talk about. And so, you guys showed us the movie, right? So
yeah,
like,
I've only seen it once.
Oh,
One
dude.
other time, he loves it.
It's a great movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
did you see it when you were a kid? Is that?
So it's one of my dad's favorite movies.
Oh,
His all-time favorite movie is Chicken Little, but his second favorite is Ferris
Oh my
Bueller's
gosh.
Day Off.
Chicken Little used to terrify me when I was little,
Right.
because
I
like
watched it.
it's the end of the world as we know it, and then right after that, the movie 2012 came out, and I cried in the movie theater
2012 was such a
so
scary
many
movie.
times. And not even watching the fucking
Terrifying.
movie. I would watch the trailer for the movie. It would be on there like while I'm going to see like Ice Age or something.
Dude,
like
I
a
pray
kids
to
movie.
the
And I'd
Lord
see
all
that. I would
2020.
cry like a bitch.
I would have nightmares about that shit.
My dad was on a date, and she brought her daughter, who was also my age, and I was flirting with her, and then
That's
I just
kinda-
started
What a
fucking
wingman.
crying.
Uh,
I started fucking crying. I didn't give a fuck. I was like 8.
I think you gotta show the girls your softer
Interesting.
side.
Oh my
Dude.
I've
God.
always I've always just like been a
Been
pretty
in flirt.
been a flirty guy.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Play's got
Stud.
We
But-
got game.
We got game.
But I'm a flirt, but I'm not a fucking asshole. Like I'm not like
He's
I'm
a
not like the
stud.
douchebag in
Class.
movies that's like, oh hey, like can I suck your tits? I'm not gonna fucking. I'm not like. Yeah, like, hey man, you
No,
meet
his
Friday
dog also
7
bites
o'clock.
now.
Be there. Be fucking square. Like,
Some shit
yeah,
you
like.
say.
Don't be a square. I'll see you around.
Me and Pipe, that's what it was. Just like fucking. I was Snapchatting. Like that's. I wasn't being an asshole, and I wasn't gonna. I was just trying to Snapchat some random shit.
You Snapchatted her? That's how you, like,
The
met?
way
The first time I ever met
he
her-
flirted noticeably
Oh, yeah.
was when I sent him a picture of me in these sweatpants and some huge like my dad's shirt or something.
Yeah.
He's like comfy and cute, just how I like it.
Ah, you stud.
At least I
Wow.
came.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't
You
remember.
got
I
her.
remember it like it was yesterday because it was the first time. Like
That's
I had
good.
liked you way before then, so it was like the first time I figured like maybe I have a chance.
Whoa.
Well, that's actually funny
I'd be
enough.
very flattered.
You were actually at a buddy of mine's room, and I saw you there, and was just like, "Oh, damn. Well, she's cute."
We got off track.
Yeah. To start out with Ferris Bueller, you were talking about how it was your dad's favorite movie. Right?
Well, the first time he showed it to me, I was probably 15.
50? Okay,
Maybe.
okay. So you saw you were a little bit older. Okay, because when I saw this movie the other day, like I was like, "Holy shit!" There's a lot of like adult
Yeah.
like themes. Like there's a lot of shit that's like life. Like you learn a lot of life lessons towards the last like 15 minutes of that movie.
It's real quick too.
Out of fucking nowhere. Like it's just a bullshit movie about high school, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey man, you ever thought about fucking everything?
Well, they got your attention.
Hey, let me.
They're keeping the jokes
For
going,
real.
then they know at the end that you're all paying attention by that point because it's funny as fuck.
Well, you got to think too. The whole point of the
That
movie.
is cute.
The whole point of the movie. It starts off in the beginning. Ferris saying he said something like, "Life moves really fast. If you don't stop to smell the roses, you're gonna miss it." So it's kind of.
Whole movie on that.
Yeah, they keep you going, make it fun throughout the whole movie, and then at the end, once all the lessons are really starting to set in for Cameron in the movie is the character.
Yeah.
And once those lessons are starting to set in, like you said, the last 15 minutes, it's kind of like taking you through the journey with it too.
Yeah.
Of all those realizations hitting at once,
I agree, and that's that quote that you said. I wanted to write it down, and I forgot to write that one down because that actually is what made me start taking notes on the movie because I heard that quote and I was like, "Fuck, I forgot it. I gotta start writing from here on out because I liked it. It kind of just hit me, I guess, to where it was like, oh, like right now I'm in the middle of that. Like I gotta smell the roses. This is why I want to do the podcast. This is why we are gonna, just fuck it. We're here now. Let's do some cool shit and talk about some real shit. And maybe some people hear some real opinions and hear experiences that they're going through and maybe learn something to help them. I know we've all been through some pretty crazy life experiences and stuff.
Mhm.
So
Collective wisdom, dude.
correct.
For sure.
Ferris Bueller has a few of those lessons, and I'd like to point out that the movie was chill until Charlie Sheen was introduced. When Charlie Sheen gets introduced into your shit,
Is he the principal?
no,
No. He was
That's
the drug
right.
addict in the police station.
Oh.
His eyes are just sunk in
Yeah.
because he stayed up for like 3 days before that movie came out.
I remember
like,
you told me that.
Yeah,
Like ghost white.
They said like he wanted to genuinely look like a drug addict at that time, and I guess he was clean at the time, believe it or not. And like when he showed up, he like said he wanted to be genuine or something like that, and somebody kind of shit on him. I don't remember who it was, but they were like, "It's called acting. Why don't you just do that instead?" And like, but
Damn.
nonetheless,
That's a shoot.
anyway, the movie was fucking chill until Charlie Sheen got there, and then all of a sudden, everything went to shit. Because he's the smartest man in the movie, I believe.
Yeah, he was dropping some real knowledge, wasn't he?
The single
and to
quote-
Little Miss.
The quote that I wrote it down was just, "The problem is you." That's I love that. Just because the whole thing is like the sister is mad at the brother. She's mad. It's mad at Ferris, right?
She's too focused on everybody else.
Yeah,
She's mad that her brother gets to ditch school and doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
And if she did it, she wouldn't. Absolutely, there's no way in hell she'd be able to get
Get
by
away
with
with
it. You
it
know
like
what I
she
mean?
did, yeah.
and that's
That's
what,
what
like
she's ultimately mad at.
she's always mad at like him, but like in reality, it's just him doing him. But
Yeah,
Exactly.
She
she's
just needs to
jealous
do
of
her.
him,
she
yeah.
just needs to fucking do her. Just worry about yourself.
Hey,
The problem,
maybe
the
that's
problem
Thank God
is
she
you.
met Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
That taught her a lesson.
The problem is you.
It taught her a lesson.
Dude,
I love that. I hate like I'm a person that's really big on like do not make excuses. I hate when people just make dumbass
Right.
excuses. Despite the fact that I'm also a fucking like what's the hypocrite?
Yeah.
But I fucking hate when people make dumbass excuses, and so where like the problem is you just admit to it. Like, oh yeah, like it's not the fact of he's skipping school and I can't. I get caught all the time. Oh, maybe I should just get better at fucking sneaking around.
Exactly.
Dude, you could boil it down even more, man. I believe you go all the way as simple as it's somebody else, man. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Down to
Like literally,
there's-
they're not you.
Mhm.
That's all that matters at the end of the day.
It's
Whatever you
yourself.
do, however your life goes on, is ultimately will be decided by you. You know, your
you can't
decisions
do anything
today
about others.
dictate the stories you tell tomorrow.
And that's because of like where I'm at now. Like this is the most comfortable I've ever been in my life. Like I don't know where you guys are at.
Oh,
in
yeah.
life, but
Yeah,
Same.
This is
definitely not really.
the fact that
So comfy.
I'm more comfortable at 21 than I've ever been. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I have like more money now than I've ever had. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy, and also that all of this shit has just happened so fast. So it's just all of 2020 fucking like beat the shit out of all of us. And so like how the fuck we made it through that like is absolutely insane. Like shouts to college, all college
should
students
all
out
be
there.
dead.
that have fucking
All
made it
people out
through
there,
all of this.
honestly, everyone's going like through it.
I feel bad for
Dude,
I
you
know.
you could say that 2020 was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It really was.
All
Exactly.
the
It's done
important shit
now?
that happened that we needed to learn happened in the back nine.
Yeah.
You know?
It
Yeah.
did.
And now we are back.
Yeah, that
But
2020. Yeah, pretty much 2020 sucked. So now like let's sit back and smell the roses. Let's realize like oh yeah, that blue dick. We're here now.
I think that's what
There's
2020
no
teaches
there's
a
no
lot of
reason to
people
worry about that
anyway.
shit anymore.
We need to
Guess
look
what?
at
You're
the
fucking right here.
Bigger
Yeah.
picture. The bigger picture. What's actually important in our lives instead of.
yeah,
No
and at the
bullshit.
end, you're the only
Meaningless
person that's
things.
gonna be able to do anything for yourself. Nobody else is gonna be able to do anything because it's not.
Exactly.
They're not gonna. What backbone is that?
Exactly.
You know.
When you're stuck at home all day, and that's the people that like had homes that were like paid for and like didn't really have to worry about rent and stuff like that. I feel like all of those people definitely should have fucking like should be on another level of consciousness right now.
Wait, you again?
All of
I literally just accidentally stuck my finger in his nose.
David was like, I'm making a
Yeah, it
really
was
funny
like-
face.
We're gonna back it up.
It was like a knuckle and a
That
half.
was very funny. His face looked. Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
that was invasive.
I didn't mean
I always
to.
witness these things.
I did. I 100% meant to.
I know you
Absolutely fuck you.
did.
He wanted to scream so bad when you did that.
the digging for gold
Alright,
episode
we're.
of
I
SpongeBob.
didn't.
Okay,
Okay,
back.
backing it up.
We're going.
Pause it,
Either
see?
way, the problem is you. Fuck it. Let's go back to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Problem's you.
I was saying that you can't, you gotta, it's all you. You are the only person
Everything
who's gonna
is
do
you.
anything for yourself, it's all a mindset, all manifestation. We were talking about that. Even that stuff's not real, you still telling yourself,
The-
hey, you're gonna try and get better, you're gonna try and do these things, this stuff doesn't matter. In a few days, few hours, really, it's not gonna matter.
The more you focus on I'll be happy tomorrow, the less you'll be happy today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know that once I get this thing, I'll be okay. And then you get it, and you're like, oh shit, maybe not.
No.
And that's like I think it's like God's kind of cruel joke. That's where I was saying earlier. That was my point. Was like I'm at the comfiest I've ever been in life, but also like all of this shit just happened. Like mentally, I'm at my worst, and like but
Also.
physically, I'm at my best. And then it's usually been vice versa. So where usually when I'm like mentally feeling great, I'll have like $0 in my bank account. But now like I'm able to be okay, and like I'm able to pay rent.
Yeah.
Now like all of this shit just happened to just hit me square in the face to where I'm
Call
having
me
to deal with
something.
this, right?
Mhm.
And so that's where but that's what honestly it's kind of the blessing of COVID is that I do get to stay in the house and meditate and
You
sit.
literally
and
you're forced to
I
work
have
on it.
to
Yeah.
think on
Yeah.
this. I have to like deal with my issues. That's the fucking crazy thing about COVID. And it's,
Yes.
You can have an
So
outlet,
heavy.
dude.
Yeah, you gotta. But honestly, I think 2020 just taught a lot of people, especially I think me, just honest, shit don't matter. It doesn't. Fuck it. Fuck
Dude.
it. It does
Oh,
not
I
matter.
got
That
the
shit's
big-
gonna
I have
end.
the
You're gonna
biggest
go.
fucking mentality.
You're gonna like shit's gonna. It's gonna be fine. It's either you're gonna learn something or something good is gonna come out of it. And either or, those are still. Why do you need to look at it in any, like, take it any other way? It could just be simplistic. Like shit just happens. You take what you can from it and you move forward.
just
That's the
keep
best
rolling.
way you can do it. Or be present in it.
Absolutely. Just kind of you're there. Okay, like let's
way to take it and just go all out.
But
at
it
once.
will at some point not be so heavy.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because
You
at
start
first, when you
letting
have
off
this
the load.
mentality, of course, like it's like, well, how the fuck do I even like do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, in time it comes with like it because it honestly just sit in like, wow, it really does like fuck it.
The only thing that you're going to be thinking about, the only thing that your memories are going to be made out of, are stories that you make. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
your friends are in them. Yeah, your friends do funny shit, but without you being in that moment, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have made a memory. It would just be
That
you would just exist. There's a good quote.
Not
The people
living.
who can live are rare because everybody nowadays is
just
existing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like
Oh, they were saying like the
Yeah.
sheepdog analogy and how we don't want to be either. We're out.
yeah, man.
I love that shit, and it's fun to talk about that because it's such like that hooey gooey shit that like everybody talks about, and it's like, oh, those fuckers out in California, they're just, oh man, like just think about the energy and just be okay with life, man. Fucking, but like it
Genuinely,
It
if
really
you think on
bored-
it.
if it that's what's the movie Bleed for This, like the last line, he's like, if I learned anything from life, it's that it is just that simple. And it's, when you boil it down to the end, it really is just, the problem is you've got to deal with your shit. Hey, whatever the fuck is in front of me is because
It's what you make of
it's
it.
there. It's because I put it there. I've allowed it to be there. So now, okay, just accept that. And now, whenever it comes at me, I'm okay with that.
That's
It's not. There's no positive or negative to it. I'm just okay with it. It's
That's
I just accept it.
You have to
big
deal with
thing
it.
is not looking at things with black and white. It can be black, white, and gray, and tan, and purple, and green, and whatever the fuck you want it to be. Things do not need to be in categories, and I feel like that's what creates such a divide in your own head. And you have so many things that you can't just let go or move past because you're just so focused on categorizing it in a negative and a positive box. When in reality, all shit is just shit.
That's what.
Because even negative things are good, dude.
Yeah,
Like even
in the
Good
end,
things
even
out of that.
failing,
It can
failure's
be.
the best teacher, dude. Even failing at anything you do, it's gonna
yeah.
teach you something. It's gonna make you
Even
better
when
at
you
whatever
mess
you
up.
try. You know.
Yeah.
It's just the negative connotation around
That's
failing.
it.
You know.
Yeah.
That's everybody's scared of.
That's it. Because even when, you know I've been a jackass before, but am I going to
Still
sit
am.
around? Exactly. But am I going to sit around and be like, God, I am such a cunt? Or am I going to be like, it just happened, shit happens. Sometimes people say mean things, and then we move on. We're good.
I am a true firm believer that a positive always comes out of a negative situation, no matter what it is.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
No matter what it is.
I just think just be nice to people and then
Dude,
chill.
absolutely.
The
You
amount-
get,
Because
you
that's
get
the
what
only-
you give in.
Yes,
man.
that's
all,
it.
That's
And
all.
why give anybody
kind to
anything
other
else
people.
to
Just be
use like
kind.
that? Because they already got everything else. There's already because
don't
you know what you have going
Yeah.
on. There
Imagine
must
what
be
they
other
have,
shit
you know what
going
I'm
on.
saying? Like, you
Even-
can just
No
imagine
idea.
what they could be going through.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Even if it's
No
nothing,
idea.
even if they're not going through anything, they're still a person.
Still gotta be cautious.
You know.
That's
And so you might as well just be nice, chill with that.
Exactly.
Even if they react in certain ways, of course, sometimes you need to stick up for yourself and stick up for other people.
Right.
But there's just
Most
of the time, it's like, bro,
Fuck
fuck
it.
it.
Fuck
Literally, fuck it.
That's with that like that fuck it mentality. That's where using that like, okay, like I'm just okay with everything. Like I want other people to feel that feeling too.
Mhm.
That's I think with you just accepting everything, you'll start to realize like a lot more about yourself. And like the amount of shit I've learned about myself in this past month is absolutely fucking insane.
I
You learn how to, like you said, acceptance is the key, man. You
Just-
learn how
yeah,
to,
acceptance.
stop
Just
categorizing
Gotta
things
start
and learning how to
accepting that
accept.
shit.
It
That's
just
it.
is.
Deal with
It just
situations
is.
that
There's
happen.
nothing else about it.
That's
It's
it.
not good, bad,
Mhm.
yeah,
Nothing
neutral.
good
It's just,
bad.
dude, it's just
Yeah.
shit.
This
You
shit
have to
happens,
expect-
exactly.
Accept it to deal with it.
Oh no, 100%.
Um,
But like we don't
Dude,
gotta
she stayed
remember
for too
everything.
long.
We
Yeah.
can just bounce
That's
off.
bad.
Like
We're bouncy.
Like
Yeah.
I don't even
Our
think we've talking
conversations.
about.
No,
much
we
things that are-
forgot about Ferris Bueller a fucking while ago.
Oh god.
We can go back to it if you want.
I don't even remember fucking
It's like
talking
the
about that,
backbone of the
bro.
episode.
Yeah, no, that's like that's just
I feel
gonna
like it's
be
just a
like
starting point.
we're just no, that's what it really is. It's just like let's just
Conversation
start at the
starter.
first scene and we're gonna make it all the way down the movie. That's what I really planned on doing. is,
Yeah.
Alright, then
just-
let's
if you
bounce
guys
to
just
another
ride
subject
along.
because we ended that one pretty nice.
I was gonna say that was
Fuck it. All right, so then the next one is
Fuck it.
like
it's infectious.
Transition.
Cameron Fry, he's sitting there and he's all pissed off and he says, "I'm not going to sit on my ass while the events that affect my life are determined for me." That one is exactly what I was saying with like the beginning of the podcast of that's why I wanted to start this shit, because I'm just tired of everybody gets to say what the fuck they think somebody else says. How about just hearing out what the fuck they actually have to say? Take 2 seconds out of your day and ask them a fucking question.
Dude,
Yes.
that
The movie-
literally.
What was the
Lack
movie
of
Cock
information.
Blockers the other day? It's a hilarious movie, but in the middle of the movie is one of the most important lessons of just ask them a question, take both sides of a story. Because it was the guy's like the whole movie, John Cena's all pissy with the other guy, and he's like, "Oh, you're a
Right.
cheater. You cheated on my wife. You cheated on your wife. Blah 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 blah." And he's like, "Hey, dude, did you ever ask me what happened? Did you ever ask me what happened? Like, oh, she cheated on me actually before then." And like so, that's just be open and just stop sitting on your ass and just accepting like, oh, like. I'm real sad that like all of this shit's happening and like I'm just gonna keep letting it hit me in the fucking face and everybody keeps saying like hey everybody keeps being able to say what I think and keeps telling me what I need to do and it keeps telling me what I need to feel and say and think and fuck that. How about
can't
you
worry
just
about
eat my
that.
ass?
Dude.
You can't wait.
Dude,
You
that's the
can't.
thing.
Yeah, because
Except-
no matter what, people are gonna do that shit. Because I know when stuff was going on and my mom was sick and I wasn't exactly telling a lot of people about it, and I wasn't around, it pissed people off because they thought I was just ditching them. Or like they created their own scenario
In their
about
fucking head.
why I wasn't around instead of asking me about it. But instead of like being like fuck you for the rest of my life, like no, because you want to know my shit, like cool, but you should. It's not your shit to know yet. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing is let people tell you their shit
People
when
are
they want to
nosy.
tell you their shit.
That's
And then after that, nothing. If people create other stuff, that's
People are
fuck it.
just
I mean, like that's what they
fucking-
did. That's what they did.
I can very much agree with that, and that's going on with me right now. It's just
Mhm.
like I know I'm very distant with everybody right now. This is the most like that's why this is going to be the most broadcast thing I've done.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I have
same.
like my brothers, like I barely talk to my brothers, and like I love them so much. My sisters, like that's my little sister just got a phone.
I
So
know.
I've been trying to text her as much as possible. So that's
But it's hard to
It's just-
communicate when you're going through a lot of stuff.
Sometimes you
Yeah,
just gotta
'cause
go
it's-
through your shit.
Or you just want to
It's-
deal with your shit, and then
yeah, and that's I want to be. I just want to deal with it and be done with it, and then I can go back to being normal again.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I guess I'm in that mentality of just like I need to fucking get it done and then be done with it.
Mhm.
And in reality,
you
this,
gotta
this
give
is
yourself
gonna take
a little bit
rip.
of a break.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna take a minute
Yeah.
to deal with. But I mean,
But also,
what's
you're
not,
a type
what's
of
up
guy
for
that
trying?
loves to like work on your shit and do your shit and get it done. So
Yeah.
I can see why
Mhm.
the pressure you put on yourself. But also, hey,
There is no pressure, man.
there's
you
no
know?
pressure.
The only pressures from me. Yeah, that's a friend of mine. She actually recently broke up with her boyfriend, and she was talking about how she like is like, oh man, like I'm so far behind in school and stuff, because she was thinking about moving to England and stuff, and she she was just so sad about like being so like a year and a half behind, like because she's been working trying to save up and stuff, and I was just like, honey, there's no need to worry about being that far behind or whatever, because there's no actual timeline for life. But that I don't know. That's
That's a struggle though. That's definitely a struggle though. Fitting up with the social status, getting married, having kids, getting a job, providing,
Pressure.
that's
doing that shit because that's how you're supposed to do this
What
shit. That's
you're
how you
supposed
go
to do.
through life.
that's a lot of being a college student.
You
Is
know?
fucking the social pressure of being like, holy
Yeah,
shit!
you
If
gotta-
I don't fucking like, I have to take a fucking extra semester to graduate. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Am I fucking dumb
My
as
whole
shit?
life
Am I
off
just
track. Am I
awful?
dumb? What are people gonna think about me? What are
Yeah.
all these people gonna see it as? Like that's a. I know it's a big image thing, especially at our age.
That's
How a lot of our decisions make us look, and apparently it justifies absolutely everything about us when it really doesn't.
And I know it's really fun for like us because like we're both philosophy majors,
Mhm.
me
Yeah.
and Phoebe are, and that's that like it's being a philosophy major is always fun because everybody's just like, oh, you
Yeah, what
doing
the
that
fuck
who
are
you
you
do
gonna do?
shit. But here's the thing, motherfucker.
Here's the
That-
motherfucking
here's the
thing.
Since I have started reading philosophy and started changing my mentality, who I am as a person has gotten up so much better, and what I do about who I am as a person has become so much better that I make more money because I'm in a better mindset.
Right.
It's not that like you're not gonna have a job, you're not gonna have what are you gonna do with a
It's
philosophy
not about that
major?
shit.
All of that bullshit. How about I fucking think better and I'm okay with myself more and I know more about like what I want to do in life.
Like, why does
So
it fucking
you can eat
matter?
my ass. Quit giving a shit about what the fuck I want to do. The problem's you, motherfucker, not me.
Like,
I'm
how do you
saying, and
live
I
your
want
life?
mine's just like a BA for grad school because I'm going to archaeology and anthropology, and I'm hoping to like go abroad for all that stuff too. And so like this stuff that you're learning right now, all of it is just it's a basis for understanding literally human life, like
Yeah.
mind, culture, all of it. Philosophy is understanding everything. Why would you not want to
It's
study
so
that? Why would that be?
important.
Why would you look at it that bad? Why would you be like, what the hell are you gonna do with that?
Exactly.
Like with mine, I know it makes me like gives me these fun little ideas, and I'm like the monad thing. I will never get that out of my head.
That's
Like
The what?
Lebanese is a philosopher that however
Leibniz?
Leibniz.
What?
I say Lebanese.
Lebanese.
Oh
my
Isn't
God.
that a language?
I didn't even know what they were talking about. And I was like, that's probably not right.
That's not it though.
Lebanon.
He had like the monad philosophy, and it's like this weird thing, and from that, it like set off a little just train of thought in my head that I then had a conversation with him about like energy and all this stuff and
Yeah.
soul.
Basically, to explain that for people that don't know what like Leibniz's monads is, like this is basically monads are the smallest thing in the universe. It's the thing that makes everything.
Yeah.
It's not matter per se. It's not.
Because it makes up the soul as well.
Yeah, because it makes up the soul, it makes up the spiritual world as well. It's spiritual and the
So it's
physical
like-
world, so it's all in
a
one.
little-
The spiritual plane and the physical plane is all one. That's
Would you
it's
say-
kind of pretty close to Buddhism now that I say it out loud.
Same
But
with gospel.
anyways, with that, the monads basically are just the smallest thing in the universe, and it basically is God. It's the thing that like God, the thing that makes up God is monad. And monad is God.
It's so weird, and it has all these attributes. Like monads have specific.
Yeah.
We can't even make that.
Would you-
I just.
It's a useful thing to know
It is
about.
just it teaches you.
That's
lots
no,
of
and
fun
that,
things.
like that's what like I'm a philosophy major, but I want to go into nursing, and so
Yeah,
like,
like you literally.
but like that's been the hard thing recently with like also learning a lot of things about myself is what I really want to do is help people. That's what I love to do. When you break it down to its simplest form, I want to help people.
Yeah.
Now, is that nursing? Is that teaching? Is that whatever? I'm not sure yet. I think it's nursing. That's what I want to go into. I want to do a post-grad nursing program, but
Yeah, but we don't.
that's if I do that. Like that's what I'm right now. I'm in
Don't
the
know.
middle of this transition of like figuring out what the hell,
You can't have.
who
a straight
am
plan,
I, and what the
plan,
hell am I
plan
gonna do?
too.
How you gonna leave your mark?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
what's the how do I want to kick this world in the nuts? Let's
Yeah.
see.
Like, what do I want to do?
And
That's the hardest part.
Because it's
though.
open, man. You can do whatever.
I really
What's
genuinely
my
right now, if I
purpose?
wanted to, I could pack in a van. That's all I really wanted to do.
That's
for
it.
a
That's
The
why
while.
we
only-
took a road trip. We were
Pack
like,
up
The
and
oh.
van.
only thing that's
Leave.
stopping you from doing anything you want to do is just the blocks you put in your own mind.
Yeah. Are you gonna jump in the car and drive to Montana tonight and sleep there for the night and get to see Montana? You wanted to see Montana today? Fucking drive to Montana.
That's it. Money's a problem. Figure it out.
Fucking
You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
save
Like,
up for a week
figure it out, man.
get it. Yeah, like
and go.
Find you a way.
That's
Fucking
right. That's
Robin
the
Hood.
thing. And
bitch.
that's with plans too. Like our future plans. I can't have it like everything
You don't
bang,
know
bang,
what's
bang,
gonna
bang, bang,
happen.
bang.
You
Like
never
I have a
know.
general idea that I'm going to be following because I just know, especially from just shit we've gone through, opportunities present itself.
Facts.
You meet people, you see people, you go different places.
So fucking
Things
true.
just kind of show up and land in
Yes.
your lap, and you're like, how the fuck did
It's
that happen?
Annoyingly
so
often for
fucking
him.
Yeah.
Weird.
So annoyingly often.
It's so weird.
Dude, so yeah, you'll talk about some stories and say some shit like, I'm
Yeah.
like,
She
how,
just works
that
out.
you're the luckiest man alive at times.
Coincidence.
Like,
It's just fucking.
But
Dude,
but
I
no
will
bullshit,
say-
no bullshit. That's why I started thinking more about the fuck it mentality was because I saw how you were in life, and because I saw that
Aw.
you were doing like you were just okay. You were
How
just okay
sweet.
with shit, and things ended up okay for you. I was like, I fucking want to be like that.
That's
Dude, I
exact
want to
thing.
be
That's
like
because I'm
Like,
telling
what's
you,
up?
I'm
That's
the
a
biggest
saying,
the
bro.
biggest lesson I've taught upon to myself was it's you get out whatever you put in, whether it be
Exactly.
your relationship, whether it be schoolwork, life, the positive thinking,
Mhm.
negative thinking, on the other side of that coin. Whatever you put into the world, that's the energy you're gonna get back out. Once you learn acceptance, that's not like
Acceptance, yeah.
that's not the
Yeah.
that's not the only step though. That's
Yeah.
just the first step.
That's-
Because then once you accept it, then that's acceptance is when you get the blocks out of your mind.
Then you're gonna start
Accepting
working
Then
on
that
it.
opens you
accepting
up to
and
being
being
able to
okay
do whatever
with
you
it.
want to do, man. You
Yeah.
can fix whatever you need to fix about yourself. You can go see whatever you want to see, be whatever you want to be, turn into whatever you want to be.
It's the hardest part to
Exactly.
teach people, though. I know with Casey, like, a lot, there's blocks that, like, I try to
Leave
talk
me
with her
alone.
about. But that's the hardest part, though, and it's the hardest part to explain to people.
I
Yeah,
know.
and that's what like I know she's noticed it, and I've noticed about myself recently. And like one thing that's a block in my head that I really hate is that I'm so used to just like once I say it, like then that's like how I want to execute it.
I know.
So I want to execute it perfectly that way. So like the other day, we were just gonna go park the cars in the driveway, and for some reason I started freaking the fuck out
Yep.
because she had pulled in front of me, and initially how I was gonna park was gonna be in front of her, and instead now it was backwards to where I was gonna be behind her, and for some reason
So now it's all messed
that
up.
just
Yep.
did not click in
No,
my mind.
yeah.
I was flashing my lights. I was like, hey, let me go
It
around
wasn't
you.
the
Like I want to
plan.
be up there. Like that's
Mhm.
where I fucking I have
But
mentally
again, it's
pictured that,
understandable, yeah.
and it's such a small thing, but for some reason I'm just freaking the fuck out in
Because
that
you weren't
moment. And
expecting
just,
it.
yeah, it's just that littlest thing. But what's weird though, when shit like that happens, I'll freak the fuck out.
Yeah,
But when
It's
like
also control.
actual things happen, I've always been okay in that moment.
I know, it's
I've always
kinda
been cool,
like
calm,
a-
and
it's
collected in
kinda
that
like a
moment. But
sudden-
never.
Oh, you don't
calmness.
think then.
It's like it's
You know what
shock.
I mean?
Yeah,
You're
it's
not
called
thinking
shock.
in those moments because you know in yourself what to do.
Yeah.
But that's
So in the moments that you are thinking,
Yeah.
You have to
doubt.
execute.
That's
that.
why I
You
wanted
start
to
to
do
doubt
nursing so
yourself.
much was
That's
because
true.
I've always just been like in that moment of
Mhm.
fucking
You
like
just kinda have to
mayhem.
just
I've
let-
always just calmed,
Mhm.
and like right
And you
then
can't-
I've just
yeah.
executed.
Dude, I feel that. I started off wanting to go into the medical field because, like, I mean, I don't have a weak stomach, and I've always been calm, cool, collected under pressurable situations like that.
I don't know, like my dad, very fucking like pent up dude.
Mhm.
My mom, very pent up person. My brother, my older brother was pretty chill. My little brother's pretty chill, but like, we grew up in just a very mayhem, like very loud environment. So like that shit, I don't know. I guess just like when like little things set me off, that I'm immediately back in that mindset of fucking mayhem. Like
Yeah.
shit, let's fucking get down.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm ready to get down to
yeah,
it.
yeah. And but funny enough, when mayhem does start, I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I feel that, though.
No, I've grown. I don't really know how to pinpoint it. It's just my dad is always, he's a big proponent on always think about what you can do for somebody else, and then he's also just roll with the punches kind of guy.
I think
You know?
the relationship that you had with your family, like your dad and your mom, is
True.
definitely the reason why he
Because-
is such a. I
yeah.
think fuck it.
Because I am alright. So when you think about it, I'm an only child. I never had a brother, sister, nothing.
But-
And my parents are if you comparatively on the older side of parenthood for my age, right?
Yeah,
I
they're
think
older.
they're about 57 and 58. But when I was a kid, like when I was born, I lived in Indianapolis until I was about 5 and a half. We moved here when I was about 6. And so when I was a kid, there it goes again.
Your
When
dad.
when you were
I was
a kid.
saying your
Your dad was
relationship with
being-
you
Yeah,
and your
my
dad
mom had
was
I told you this
probably the
earlier. My
reason
mom
why
had
you're
a
fucking-
daycare in our house.
Yeah.
So I was an only child, but I have only child tendencies, but I also really don't for an only child because I was still forced to share all my toys with 10 other kids.
When you
know.
told me you were an only child, I was super confused.
Yeah, you grew
totally
up in
stunned
the
me.
church too.
Yeah, like I said,
So
I'm a
you're with
preacher's
the
kid too.
youth, and you're with them all the time, and you did sports. And
Yeah.
Your mom always had people
I was
over.
they've always like tried to instill in me to be my own person. Don't let anybody else tell you what to do. Like,
Walk to the sound of your drum.
yeah, it's your life. Everybody else is just living in it,
What do kids like to grow up like?
But they've also made me very sociable. I've always gone to church and I've always been in sports and all that kind of stuff. And I've just seen a bunch.
Yeah.
Right.
Really, and I've just
I'm not saying-
seen how other people reacted to situations. Seen how people should have reacted to situations, and then you learn from yourself and your mistakes.
And I think we
Because
both
I
been
definitely
places.
haven't been like this.
No,
I've not been like
no,
this
no.
my entire
So
life.
has it been like a lot of just learn from your mistakes?
It's life experience is what is
Yeah.
really what it boils down to. Learning the only way to learn. The only way to learn how to get through something like whatever you want to make the example,
Yeah.
learning how to get through something like X, Y, or Z
Yeah.
Whatever
is
it is.
by going through it,
Exactly.
and it sucks, and that's where turmoil in life, gets you. That's where it feels like it's starting to be too much because, that's not obviously not what you expected to happen,
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. I lost my grandmother on my dad's side. She's my last grandparent alive. I lost her, I want to say 3 years ago, and I was on high school retreat with my youth group. We were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere, just having a good old time out by the lake, in a big old cabin, just with my youth group and my buds,
Yeah.
And so, being able to sit here now and remember how I felt then, and know that that's just one of those things in life that happens. That's one of the things you learn from, you deal with. It's just mental reflection any chance you get, and not getting yourself in the box of beating yourself up like, man, dude, I can't believe my grandma died. I was trying to have so much fun that weekend,
Yeah, and that's not less about having the expectation of why didn't I have more time and all that stuff, and just being like, man, did I take care of it while I had it? And it's pretty oversaid, but like everybody wants 5 more minutes, but in reality, did you spend the time with them while they were here? Did you seize the day? Seize the day. I think I left that as the description of this podcast. Actually, just in general on the website, it's just seize the day. It's just because
that's good. That's a good motto for real.
Yeah.
it's
It just embodies everything that literally we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
It can be applied to any one of those talking points.
I've learned a lot about just like don't think to what if I did this, what if I did that. It's just
You can't do what ifs.
fuck it.
Well,
Okay.
What if? Yeah, because that's
And
not what happened.
let's
If
go.
you
Let's
just
seize the day.
Mhm.
Deal with it. Okay, accept it. Seize the day. Take care of it now. And if it's still an ongoing issue, deal with it today. If it's no longer an issue, fuck it, it's gone.
Yeah, and even if it's a long-going issue, I think a lot of it's still how you look at it.
Yeah.
It's still how you look, because I know a lot of us have anxieties or just like depression or just some things like mental stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that that's just a lot of things that you are always gonna have to be like, what the fuck? Like, why am I
You
even
gotta
like
learn how to heal
feeling like
yourself.
that? Like, you know what I mean?
You gotta
But
learn yourself.
But
and
you
how-
just learn yourself, look at yourself, how you go through experiences, how you go through certain things, and it's just picking out all of
Examples.
those things that worked and what didn't,
you
and
move
looking
on.
at it head on, and just being like, I know what I need to do for myself to be
Exactly.
able to
Dude,
calm
yeah.
yourself down, because I know with my stuff, I'm able to calm down very easily than what I used to be.
Yeah, you just reel yourself
I
back.
can reel myself back from holes. I can just like all these little from
You
just
just need to talk
anxiety.
for a second.
Like, cause I just have social anxiety. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's not a lot of. I think it's just a family thing. Like my
Yeah.
brother has a lot of stuff too. So does my other brother, and so
You just need to
But
hear
I know-
somebody else tell you that it's
once you get
it's
yourself
okay.
out of a little hole and you just work on yourself.
Now, I know that like a lot of that change that happened with me was because of life experience and because of like
Mhm.
crazy shit that
Mhm.
like I've seen or like had happened. Was yours an experience or was it more of a mindset change? It was like you just
Oh,
started getting.
mine was 100% after something I had gone through before I went to college.
Mhm.
Just something happened, and I was just like, you can't care anymore, really. I think it was definitely an experience, but also I was about to go to college. You know, you're about to make friends that are going to be your bridesmaids, the people for the rest of your life. Like, these are people you're going to want to stick around, because I'm not going to live in my hometown. I'm not going to be stuck in my hometown friends. Like, I'm moving up. We're growing.
Yeah.
You know? And so I also put the pressure, I think, on myself to just be like, you cannot let this bring you down from being the best that you can be. Because you are going to be happy having more friends. You are going to be happy going out and not worrying about things. You are going to be more happy being with people that make you feel comfortable. And to get there, you have to just jump over all that hard stuff. Like I know when I joined Sigma, every single day through recruitment, I was crying or I had some type of something. At the end of it all, I was still every night. I just knew that I was just only feeling that way because it was just there was a lot of things. There's just a lot of pressure, a lot of things that I know that were just things that like little negatives that you just put in your head that you can't always get out. You know, but you know they don't matter. So you can say they don't matter even if they still come up. But by the end of it, I made all of these friends. I got out and I was comfortable walking around campus. We were included in a big community. There was just like a lot of more pluses to that. You know what I mean? To be social, to go out, to not let these things hold you back because you are the only person that's going to be able to do anything about it. So I think an experience definitely flipped the switch, but then also a mindset where you're like, you cannot.
I like to think that experiences lead to mindset changes.
Yes.
Yes,
I think that's
and
a
that's-
good. That's a
I
good way to
love
put
that.
it.
Definitely.
I love that, but that's where I like where I start thinking about that is where I'm a big brother, so like I think about also having kids one day, and so
Oh,
I
scariest thing in the world.
think I never want my kids to
Oh, no,
ever
no, no.
experience
Any of it.
some of the shit that I've seen or dealt with, and so I never want them to deal with that experience. How do I instill a mindset without the experience? And that's a tricky
also
walk.
That's when you gotta be able to understand
that you
point of views, other people's point of views, and how you're being perceived to them. You know what I'm saying? That's more of that's more of you having to be able to get a point across. You being able to explain something so big as whatever you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to explain this huge concept to, let's use the example of kids. Say your child. You gotta basically be able to put yourself in that kid's mind. Like
the only way you're gonna
I'm
be
a
able
child.
to do it
Like
is,
how would I want to perceive it?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's there's things that, and I'm sure there's gonna be more things by the time I have kids.
yeah.
There's things that's happened that I for sure don't want to happen to my child. You know?
Yeah.
Also,
But you can't
But you can't
shield
stop
them.
it.
You can't completely cover them and shield them from it because, like I
It's-
said earlier, failure is the only way. Experience is the only way you're gonna learn.
and we've read a lot of philosophy stuff as well. That experience in general, like even if it's good or bad,
That's the
also
teacher.
they
Teach
can
resolve in
be
your
in an
children.
environment where they just see it. You know what I mean? Like I know I've been in a lot of environments where I've just seen people do some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I never want to do that, and I never want to be like the person that person was and how they were acting. But I experienced it in the sense of I hung out with those people, but I didn't experience it by doing it. I saw it.
Exposure rather than experience.
Exposure. That's the word. Exposure rather than experience could also be
Yeah.
another thing because it can lead to experience. But it's just another mindset of like you're not gonna be able to stop because your family was never able to stop things that happened to you. My family's not able to stop a lot of things that happen to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so that's just where you come to. You do the best that you can to explain little things, but also you don't want to be too much because I know a lot of people that were sheltered so much that it led them to doing a lot of these things. You just
Yeah.
can't put the pressure on you as a parent. I think because I think that's why your parents were really great because they didn't.
My parents, I will say, my parents are.
And mine were too.
They're fantastic. They were always the kind that were like,
Cause they didn't.
instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna ground you for a whole like a month and a half if you smoke weed or if you drink alcohol before you're supposed to or anything like that, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they were more like, guys, like just be smart, you know. I know that. Here's what I'm telling you. Please don't learn from my mistakes. But I know at the end of the night, at the end of the day,
You can't.
whatever I say will ultimately not be what you judge your actions by. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is like use your brain.
Mhm.
You know, there's things
About
there's everything can be prevented. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things. Well,
It's
that's,
instilling
let me
observation.
rephrase that because that's not completely true because shit happens.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But there's a multitude of things, of problems that I've been through that definitely could have been avoided. had I,
Yeah.
you know, been more present in the moment or something
Just
like that.
been
you know?
more aware,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of your surroundings.
But say there's just like, you know,
If you get more exposed to things, that's
exposure is 100% a thing.
yeah.
That can 100% be like if the better way, but I genuinely believe that they're gonna have to learn on their own, and you just have to be there for it.
You have to be there to help. You have to be there to help direction and guide them towards, because that's where I believe parenthood is the biggest thing, because you've already been down the road, but it's not the same road your kid's been down. But you can see the similarities between your kid's road and your road.
Because there's different times,
and you know where the
different
potholes in
centuries.
your road are, and you can see where they're about to come up in your kid's road. So maybe you give them a little nudge.
I know that's what the best thing my parents do.
By the way,
I go
if there's
through
any
stuff.
parents listening to this, we do have an email. I'll have to find it here in 2 seconds, and I want you, if there's a parent listening to this and you have any, you see these 20-year-old observations and you're like, well, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
Obviously,
please,
we're
like,
not
send me
parents.
an email.
But I know.
I want opinions.
I'll find it here in 2 seconds and I'll let you know what it is.
That's it.
All right, but yes. Oh yes, it is fatedsunproductions@gmail.com. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Say
Thank you
whatever
very
you
That's
want.
it. Well,
Sorry.
my parents 100% do that. Like, I think that's the biggest parenting strategy my parents do is that because a lot of stuff happened to my parents to where they are, but they are, nice now. Everything's pretty, good. But
My parents are very empathetic.
oh
with
yeah,
everything.
they talk. They'll talk to you through a lesson.
Yeah, like they'll put themselves in my shoes. They'll think back to when they did the same stuff I'm doing right now. They'll try to think the way I'm thinking and just feel for me overall.
I gotta say.
And I feel like that's a really good way of going about things as a parent, not just scolding your child, but trying to help them understand what they did was wrong and why it was wrong, not just you can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I think understanding people in general too, because no matter, like, the biggest thing about people is people live through their ego, and not in a mean way, but we live through, like, us. So the only way that we're really genuinely able to take things in is if we either figure it out ourselves, or, like, things, like, they can't be directed at us. You can't direct things at people, or they're not going to take it in, they're not going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an ego thing with our, like, just a lot of people's mindsets.
Yeah, like it's not going to
A
happen
lot
the way it did for
yeah,
you.
yes,
like it is for me.
that's the biggest thing. Like, you're not, like, no matter what, people are always going to be like, well, it's different for me, which a lot of times it is, but a lot of times it's not.
Yeah.
It's
You know what I mean?
when you break it down to the simplest
break
thing,
it down
it's
to simple,
still the
but
same fucking answer.
Then people feel like their problems aren't problems, because then they're like, well, it means like this much to me, and I feel like it should feel this much.
Yeah.
But it all, like, it doesn't have to.
Break it down to the smallest thing.
It doesn't,
it's just that easy.
It is.
And
it really is.
can be awful, and that's it.
And that's by the way, I'm not saying like it's just that easy, as in saying like
Yeah, because
it's just that easy because you now have the destination. You now know the destination is okay. Let me break it down to the simplest thing. Oh well, why do I not want to get up in bed in the morning while I'm depressed? Why am I depressed? Well, I do X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, now I know that the problem is depression, so I now have a destination. Don't be fucking depressed.
Once you just,
it's a journey.
I was about to say, because I know this morning I went up to Casey, because like I know whenever I feel things that like I just like I'm like, why am I feeling this way
She comes and
about
talks
some
to me.
things? I'll go and talk to Casey, and I'll be like, okay, I was doing
Help
like
her
this,
unravel.
and this, and I want to know why I'm reacting this certain way to a certain thing, because I know certain things where I'm like, well, I know I don't care, but also obviously something is still like.
You need somebody.
And so
to unravel it for you.
I literally talk to her, have her unravel it,
Yep.
explain it to me a little bit better. Then in turn, I'm able to be like, oh, well, that's not it. So then it's this. And then she's like, well, that's not it. Oh, well, then it's this. And we
It's
finally
like
able to come to a
solving
conclusion
together.
where I'm like, okay. Because knowing why you feel the way you feel should really be just the period.
Yeah.
Like, that should just be, okay.
It's a journey.
Okay.
It's a journey.
Yeah,
That's
probably
why.
the hardest
That's
part
why.
of all of it is figuring
It's
out why
so-
you
Yeah.
feel the way you do.
And then just accepting that, and that's it. It doesn't you don't have to be pitying yourself on why you feel that way or being good, like super blah 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 about it. You know what I mean? Like it can just be a feeling, and then you're like, cool. Thank goodness, I know what that is. Maybe I can work on that now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think they're on the journey to finding the answer when in reality they're actually just sitting there not accepting the answer. It's
Yes.
right there in front of their face, and they're just
Yeah.
like, "Oh fuck,
I know I do that a lot.
I'm actually a real piece of shit." Like,
Yeah.
It's just so hard to pull yourself
I
out
just-
of that
I
rabbit
just-
hole
yeah.
once you get into it. It's like,
Yeah.
for me, this whole thing is just different. Your guys' opinions are completely different upon, like, my opinions on this. Because, like, I grew up so much different. Like, I didn't have any figures to look at and, like, anything to learn, you know? Like, I didn't have anybody to learn my lessons from. I kind of had to learn it from myself. And so...
And probably you're like
It
seeing.
just-
You saw people.
I
I'd say
saw
exposure was
exposure
a
for sure.
good thing for yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
amazing.
childhood trauma, a lot of exposure, but I would say it is a journey, but you will get there. It's just, it takes you a while. I'm not even there yet. Like, I have,
I think that's the thing.
I'm on my way.
Even looking at a destination can be a hard thing to do.
It's
If
hard.
you even look, just maybe not even looking at it like that. Just that can be an easy way too. Just being like,
When negative
'Cause
things
you're always growing,
start taking
always changing.
over,
Yeah, there's always going to
You're
be one
always-
foot put in
yeah.
front of the other.
always
There's-
something different. So I think you can just never push yourself
when
down.
you start letting
for-
negative things just keep, like, piling on and piling on and piling on, it's just, you're going to turn into a huge negative
yeah,
person.
just
And you're
a
going
weighted
to forget.
blanket.
You're going to forget the positives that you have in life. You're going to forget the friends that you have.
Yeah, and
You're
you don't
gonna
want to
forget-
lose yourself
You're
and
gonna
all
forget
that
your
stuff.
family. You're gonna forget the people that are really important and the things that are really important in life, which are different for everybody. But
And I know when people go through things, they're not always themselves because there's so much going on, so much people
You
are
don't
thinking
know what
about.
to do.
You don't know how to. You're not properly
Change.
expressing you, and so I think
That's where self-reflection really takes
That's
takes place. 'Cause, dude, I'll be in like
self-reflection.
Walmart in the self-checkout line, and there's always something you can work on. You know,
Yeah.
you can take that. I will say I got that mentality from sports. You know,
yeah,
with
sports
specifically
definitely
baseball. Dude,
instill that
baseball's a
in you.
game of failure. I played ball for about 16 years, and it's just I don't know how else to say it except for whenever you go up to bat, air quotes around to bat, basically going to bat meaning attack life, seizing the day, right? Whenever you go up to bat, there should always be at least one thing in your mind that no matter how your at bat comes, how it ends, that is the one thing, that goal that you have in your mind was achieved, right? You could take it a step, like literally with baseball, right? Maybe you swung late, you swung past a strike, right? You were early on the ball. Next time you go up to bat, that thing in your head needs to tell you, dude, slow down, watch it in, and hit it. You know.
But it's also
I haven't thought
recognizing
about that. It could be sports.
recognizing that thing in you of like, hey, this voice is useful. Sometimes, believe it or not, your body and your mind does know better than like what's been told to you. Your body has a natural way of doing things, man.
Yeah, for real.
And it sucks, but it's also a completely justifiable reason for anything as well. You know.
You just like but kind of lost it, but now I'm back. But taking that mentality into life, back to Walmart, standing in line at a grocery store to just waiting to check out. There's always something you can think about.
Yeah.
You know, there's always something you can ponder on and think back to that one time when I was in the middle of my high school retreat and my grandma passed away.
Yeah.
But that was then. Here I am now.
that shit's
Where's the difference? How was I feeling then? How am I feeling now?
Reflecting on how like different you are between X and
Oh, gosh.
Y.
God, I look back at
That's
my
why I say you're
past
always
and I'm
changing.
like,
That's really
oh my goodness.
that's
But
really what you're
also-
doing. That's all you're doing really is you're finding you're seeing where you were, you're seeing where you are now, and the realizations that you're making is when
Yes.
you figure out the steps
That you
that you took to
Don't
get from
judge
here to
either.
there.
Yeah.
Don't
You
judge either.
I
Still
think
be like, you know.
events that happen in
All
your
the good
life
and the
cause
bad
you to
steps,
change.
not just the
I was
good.
gonna
You know what I'm
say-
saying?
Yeah. Because
The
it doesn't-
events.
This one definitely sucked and took me 2 steps back. This one was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Let me do that. Yeah,
I was gonna say.
that's pretty.
But now when you're in that situation where, oh shit, I'm down on my luck. Oh, you remember that one time? Fuck, I can do this.
Yeah.
Ha, fuck it. Boom. Now you got all the confidence in the world, and you're radiating, I can do this, you know?
I've seen some shit.
And so,
I
you
can
know
do
what?
it.
The world's going to let you, dude. And when it doesn't, punch it back. You know? Fuck it. That's where it all comes back to.
I think it's better too. I think the best way to look at it, even if you don't want to do it for yourself, I think trying to be better as a person is going to in turn be better for everybody around you. Like, I know my relationship is better because I had worked on myself and looked at myself, and because you don't want any of those little toxic traits, you know, because I know a lot of people have some because there's just a lot of stuff people go through, you know, and so I think working on yourself does better for all of your relationships too. You care about people better, you're more genuine with other people, and that's what people want. Like, they want someone to be genuine with and to connect with. And when I talk to people, I can tell that if somebody's not being genuine with me or not. Obviously, you know, I want
You can
people
see
don't
you
want
can see the
that.
mask that people put on.
You know what I mean?
You know
You don't
what I'm
want that. You don't want that at all. And so why would you want
Makes
to
you
be
feel
as
super
raw and
unwanted.
as, you know,
Like, it makes
because you want other people to feel that way. You
Yeah.
want people to
Yeah.
feel good.
When you
And
meet
so-
somebody new, they're
Yeah.
both of you guys are gonna
With
come
them.
at each other with not 100% full face,
Yeah.
right? Maybe let's just say that your face, for example, is your body, your personality, everything, right?
Yeah,
You're not
yeah,
gonna come at it with 100% of you.
Mm.
You're gonna come at it with a little bit, but
Mhm.
that's where that's where people differentiate.
You gotta
Because I
test the
try,
waters.
I know I try and personally, what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
For
I don't.
sure.
There shouldn't be any guessing game as to what I'm like, as to
Yeah.
what you think
Exactly.
you
Just-
need to do to
yeah.
be my friend should be. You know.
Just ask.
In
Let's
turn,
talk.
that really, I completely believe that gives whoever you're talking to, whoever that new person is that you meet, that gives them the comfortability and the freedom to really be them, to let their 100% of themselves show through.
Oh yeah, and be
Because-
themselves. You were talking about this. the
Because
other
that's
day.
true. That's what y'all said. It's what you
Yeah.
want. You just want to be wanted. You know.
Yeah, and
Just
you
wanna
want
be
people to
liked.
understand you, and we were talking too that we just have so many. We're friends with a lot of people that have mental illnesses and stuff like
We
that.
really are.
All
we
of us
connect.
are. Because we can all of us are very raw with each other because we all have a similar mentality of just being true to one
Real.
another, not being
You know,
fake,
real.
not being fake.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're
fake.
all real people, which is why I think we all get along really well because you don't need to.
It's a waste of.
It's
There's
not
no- there's
another
no
weight.
need- there's no need to
I don't want to
bullshit.
be another weight. That's a good way to put it. You don't
Exactly.
need to be another person that someone's got to be fake for.
Yeah, like honestly,
Yeah.
it's too
Yeah.
much fucking work.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they already got so much of that.
It's better just to be.
Yeah.
The better to be.
Because I know that's why
you.
me and Casey are friends.
It's almost
Yeah.
better to
That's
be
100%
honest.
why me and Casey are friends.
Yeah.
Because I saw her in Sigma and I was like, that's a chill vibe. Like, she looks fun. And we became best friends and started
Yeah, we
talking
did.
more. But the only really reason we became really good friends is because we talked in quarantine for hours.
It was the
Just
best.
of her talking to me about her stuff and me telling her
All of your shit. Too.
all of my stuff and then me
So
explaining to her
nice.
how she why she might be feeling certain
was an
ways and
instant
why I might be
connection.
feeling certain ways and how I took things because I'm a little bit older than Casey,
Yeah.
so I've some things I've gone through or some things she's gone through, and so we're able to go back and forth really easily and be as raw as we can be because it's just
It's really nice to find a person that you
Yeah.
connect with.
'cause
On
I
that
know
level.
you had an old friend that wasn't
Yeah.
exactly like that,
No.
and I had an old friend that was not exactly like that. They were more doormats than we were best
gosh,
friends
yes.
with them.
That's a habit with girls though. We pick doormats as friends.
I know,
Lots
it's
of
getting on
times.
that. But besides
In conclusion, for this podcast, as we've been going at it for a grip now, I think
yeah,
just
it's been over an hour.
to look back on everything that we've gone through with the points and everything, it's just number one, fucking be true to yourself. Be
Always.
you. Be 100%. That's why, part of why I wanted to do this podcast, and that's be not dealing with the bullshit of somebody gets to tell me what I want to do and why we're doing this. Somebody gets to tell me what we think and why we're saying it. No, it's just we believe, now you get to hear, straight from the source. No, this is what we believe. That you don't have to hear some bullshit anymore. Just be honest. And we're going to talk about real things. And today we talked about society, talked about a lot of mentality differences, talked about Ferris Bueller. And
the important one first.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the important point of today.
and thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you guys, at least if you didn't learn anything, maybe you laughed. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm probably gonna do. We're gonna do some more from here on out and see how this goes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Later, taters.